Hi everyone, this is my review of the Intel A20cc mainboard, which is a Pentium 3 slot 1 mainboard, and it's really special because this mainboard was recalled after release because it was so unreliable, and they offered refund, or they offered a replacement motherboard with another type if you returned it. So it was very rare in the first place, but because it wasn't in the market for long, it was built on a failure chipset, and it was recalled. So I have this mainboard. I won this on an auction, and it was brand new. It is in really nice condition. And yeah, so this is the infamous Intel A20 chipset, which was supposed to replace the Intel 440BX. This offered 4 times AGP, faster hard drive speed, and it offered the support for the RD RAMs. So the other model, the VC, Intel A20 VC, has the RD RAM support, whilst this one is still working with the SD-RAM. Now the system built for RD RAMs. So how they solved it to be able to read the SD-RAM is a chip which was a kind of memory translator from RD-RAM to SD-RAM, because the RD-RAM works differently than the SD-RAM does. So they built that in. Now, when it released, the RD-RAMs were super expensive, and it turned out that the system is not really fast in the first place. According to the articles I read, it kind of has the same speed as the older chipset, so it didn't offer too much. And yeah, the RD-RAMs were just so expensive, and it was also so picky about RD-RAMs. It really liked certain type of memories, and you have to use the very same kind of memory to get it work. And yeah, it was a hustle, and it was very expensive. It wasn't successful. Now this one, why it was recalled is because this memory transmitter chip, or memory translator chip, sorry, then this one made the system to crash or even cause data corruption. And yeah, they never get around it to resolve the issue. And since the Rambus RAM version wasn't very fast in the first place, this was actually slower than the older model, which is supposed to replace, or the older chipset what it's supposed to replace. So it didn't. It was a failure. So they recalled the product after 5-6 months, and yeah, somehow this one survived. What's special about it? This one has really good capacitors. There's none of them are leaking. They even by the look of it, they just high quality capacitors everywhere on the main board. They don't look cheap then compared to some others. Yeah, and this one uses jumpers. If you want to boot right into the BIOS, you can do that via jumper setting. There are other jumpers as well, which I didn't check what are they for. However, when I tried to build a PC with this one, I really needed to use the manual, which is right behind it. This motherboard is very sensitive, especially to memories. If you install the type of memory which it didn't like, it just won't boot, or it just doesn't like the memory in one of the slots while it's working fine in the other slots. There's really some kind of issues with the memory. It just turned out to be very picky. It took me 2-3 hours to find the right combination. I used two Infineon 133 megahertz memories, 256 gigabytes, and that one finally worked properly. Whenever it freezes, it doesn't tell you what's the issue exactly. It just gives you the screen, the boot screen, and then just black screen. Nothing happens. Also, what's interesting about memory, if I'm looking at this cute manual, which is printed, and it just looks so handmade, really cute. I like it. So if I open up the memory page, Not sure if I can get there right away again. So according to that, it only offers out memory support up to 100 megahertz. It doesn't say that it supports 133 megahertz RAMs. However, the CPU I used is a 100. It has 133 FS front side bus, so that shouldn't be the issue. Anyway, I read through for the first time. I think it's the first manual I had to read through because I was so unsure why I cannot get the system to boot properly, and yeah, it took me a while. It was a nice read before sleeping, and yeah, it's quite nice. Then it has this back panel. It has a cable for the floppy disk and the hard drive. It has these latches for the slot 1 CPU to keep it secured. I didn't use it, don't think it's very necessary. And it has these stickers. That's all. So yeah, once I was finally able to install finally able to get the computer boot properly and put the hard drives and the CD drives in, from that point it was finally working fine. But there is really the for me, that's my experience, the memory has really got some issues, the memory handling there. By the way, it's an additional interesting thing, it has the usual outputs, including the integrated audio, which is really good quality. It has these LEDs, so this one is an indicator. If you have a boot failure, it will tell you what's the exact issue, and you can look it up in the manual without even opening up the machine to figure out what's the cause of the issue. Okay, so yeah, let me show you this Intel A20 chipset whilst it's working. So this is my beautiful Intel A20 setup with 512 megabytes of RAM, an ATI Radeon 9600. Let's switch it on with this elegant method. And we are greeted with this nice boot screen. And the Windows is booting up. Yay! Okay, so let's run quickly on Everest. And let's check the memory speed, which is the most interesting part of this main board. Okay, so the memory read is just here between the Athlon and the VIA Apollo chipset mainboard with a Pentium 3. It's just in between, not better, not worse. Let's see the memory write. This one is it's not that great. It's just below the Pentium 2 Celeron Intel 810, and other Pentium mainboards. Intel 815 is definitely slower than the Intel 815 chipset, and a bit faster than the 440LX, so it's not great. Let's see the latency. So this one is just below the via DDR chipset of Pentium 3, and yeah, just average. Well, this one doesn't look too bad, but it doesn't stand out, and that's true. Okay, lastly, let's check the 3D Mark test result. So this one is with the Pentium 3 667 MHz CPU and the Radeon 9600. Ta-da! So it's finished. 3,929 points, which may not say much, but it is actually very good in playing video games. I downloaded a few games. I mean, I installed a few games, and they are running quite well, including the Unreal Tournament and Unreal 2004 in medium resolution. Even the Unreal 2004 runs very well on the bigger maps, so it runs surprisingly well.
It all started right here.
Lastly, this is the intro of the Fahrenheit game, just to demonstrate it runs very well. This game released in 2005 and supposed to have a bigger system requirement, but it runs very smoothly in high resolution. I haven't experienced any kind of data loss or any kind of freezes with this system, not even once. So it's either really just some mainboards were affected, or I'm just lucky, or the configuration turned out to be good. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, it just works as normal. The only thing that is not much special about it in terms of speed, it's a bit slower than the Intel 815 chipset mainboards. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this little piece of history, the Intel 820cc, codename Capecod or Camino. See you later.